going to be talking about something near and dear to my heart today, which is relationship-based marketing. And I asked my friend Janine to come along and hang out with me. So we're going to spend time together. Janine, why don't you first tell our accountants a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then we'll talk about relationship marketing.
Okay. I am trained as an analytical biochemist. I worked in the pharmaceutical industry for about 15 years making drugs for a living. And as I like to say, legal ones, because people always ask that. But the thing is I've always been a business owner. I've always had a side hack. Since I was 10 years old, I have run my own businesses, and I didn't understand what this relationship marketing thing was. Little did I know, basically, Jeff and I have been doing relationship marketing ever since we started our own businesses. And I have been in business, like I said, since I was 10 years old. So that means almost 50 years in business. And one of the good things I like to share with you about Send Out Cards is I am so thrilled that there is an automated process to do follow-up that is not electronic.
I love it. And for those who are tuning in, we will share a course that Janine offers for more detail. But today, I wanted to talk about relationship marketing. And Janine, I'm going to give my take on it, but I want you to feel free to get on your soapbox too. I know there's a lot of people out there telling accountants, you got to get better at social media, you got to get better at pay-per-click, you got to get better at ads. There's all this noise telling accountants they need to get better. And one of the things that fascinates me is accountants are really good at relationship-based marketing. And as you said, we just didn't know it was a thing until we figured out it was a thing. So I would like accountants to really focus on relationships and building relationships both with their existing clients, with their strategic partners, community partners. What are your thoughts on the noise around learning social media and marketing for accountants?
Well, what I'm going to share with accountants is this: do not take time doing social media unless it has been a proven strategy that you can actually hang your hat on the analytical data. I spent 9 years doing social media, and this was YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And I even hopped on Alignable for a period of time. I have data for the past 5 years that talks about how many people I connected with and how many people converted then over into clients. And we can talk about that kind of social media at a different time. But right now, what I'd like to share is the fact that most of the people that you need to meet, you already have in your wheelhouse, unless you just graduated and you just got your CPA, because your current clients are the ones you want to focus this relationship marketing that we're going to talk about. Make sure that you are speaking to your clients more than just once a year when it's tax time, when they panic and contact you. It's one of those things I highly encourage you to be reaching out to the current clients that you have once a month. And for some people, that's just like, oh my gosh, that's so too much. But we're going to talk about how you send a card once a month so that you're encouraging them to either reach out to you or you're staying top of mind with them. And you have an open rate that's much higher than what you would have when it comes to your email sequencing.
Love it. And I think one of the things I've heard loud and clear is accountants know that they need more clients. They know that they want better clients, but generally speaking, they don't know where the next clients can come from. Therefore, they get a little panicky and they try to do other things. Now, you talk about systems. Let's talk about Janine, and we'll try to leave Jeff out of this, but let's talk about Janine's obsession with systems. How important is it to have systems around client acquisition?
If you would like to make sure that you have cash flow when you need it, then I highly recommend that you have systems, okay? And barring a catastrophic event, usually your systems will keep you bringing new people in. And it's very simple. You ask. You ask people to not only refer you, but you ask people, are you happy with your current accountant? That's all you have to do. Are you happy with your current person? If they go, oh yeah, I love them, I think they're great, they're fabulous, they do this, they do that for me, then you don't try to win that client over. You just say, well, if at any time that should change, please think about me. And then you start sending them cards once a month.
Because we know it will change at some point. I think that's huge.
Mhm.
Um, Now let's talk about social media and paid traffic for a minute, because one of my little rants, and I'll try to stay off the soapbox. This is your evening to be on the soapbox, but the better you get at marketing, the better you have to get at sales, because you're taking more strangers and you're getting their attention. I don't know many accountants who desperately wake up one morning and say, "No, I really want to be better at sales." Thoughts on that, Janine?
Yes, that's one of the things I do love chatting with people about. This is, again, something that is important that you productize your services. Make sure that you can talk to somebody that say, "Oh, so what is it that you do?" You don't want to say, "I'm an accountant." You don't want to say that. This is where you do kind of need to be a little bit of a salesman, so to speak, a salesperson, or be a little bit of a marketeer. I know that you have a specialty that you enjoy working with, like, oh, I work with small business owners. Oh, really? How do you do that? Well, I help them with their books. See, then that's a little bit more of a conversation starter. People can kind of, oh, why did you decide to get into that or what have you? So you want to make sure that you highly specialize your services and then make your products in alignment with your specialty, such as I know of one accountant, she only works with people who are professional gamblers. Yeah.
That is
If
a niche.
she that is a niche, right? Well, why did she get there? Because she helps them with their taxes when they win. And if they lose, she helps them with their taxes. I mean, it's one of those things that it's like when you get niche down like that, then they tell their friends and they tell their friends. And believe it or not, next thing you know, she has a very viable practice. Why did she get into that? Because that was a hobby of hers. She played it in college. She enjoyed it. So she started going after people who would do it for a living. She got very good at the tax code, that sort of thing. So those are the things that you can do. So when we talk about sales and marketing, we're not asking you to be something you're not. Okay. We're asking you to sell what you know, and you do it in a product based way. And when you think of your services as products, that way you don't get so diversified that you swamp out what your people are hearing you say.
And I think that let's circle that in a minute, because everybody I know has heard the phrase, "the riches are in the niches." What people forget is the fortunes in the follow-up. So we're going to talk about both of those today, because I think I know a lot of accountants who have bought into that myth. I'm going to be a generalist. I'll serve everybody, and that way it makes it easy. Yet you and I both know, and I think a lot of people would agree, that the more narrow your niche, the easier it is for them to find you, because you're tuning that station in so precisely that the right people hear exactly what they need to hear to say, "Oh, you work with professional gamblers. I'm a professional gambler. How do we work together?"
Mhm. Precisely. And one of the other fun things is, oh, I don't gamble at all, but my uncle could really use your services because he doesn't win very much, right? All of a sudden, you're starting to get stories from family. And that's what we mean by being very specific. So, yes, the riches are in the niches. But yes, let's also talk about follow up a little bit. And that's by using those crazy systems we've been alluding to.
Love it. And for the record, if you focus on a niche, you can work less because people are starting to find you. And, I think here in Canada, we have accounting firms that only focus on the farming community. You want to be known for something. And, we're not going to spend all our time talking about niches, but the reality is you're more referable and you have better relationships if you're focused on one industry. It's very hard to be credible and say, "I help plumbers, I help electricians, I help carpenters. Oh, dentists and doctors, come on in."
Mhm.
It gets really confusing very fast.
And one of the things I highly recommend is if you are in the farming community and you're like, oh, yes, I help farmers, it's ever so much better to say, I assist farmers who have over 100,000 acres. Like, really let people know numbers. And they're like, oh, well, I have an uncle, but he only has about 100 acres. Well, if he wants, give me a call. I might be a little too expensive for him, but we'll get him referred to somebody if he's looking for, who knows? You never know where your next lead may come from. And that way you're not putting pressure on people either. That's how you sell without selling. You're just productizing your services and you're making sure people understand your limitations, your boundaries for the type of clients that you want.